Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode of the Bug Warrior. In today's video, I hope this helps new players as much as possible, because this is a Sniper Mercenary Beginners Friendly Leveling Build that will take you through Act 1, Act 2 and Act 3, and most likely their cruel difficulty versions by combining high velocity rounds, Galvanic Shards and the gas grenade. The power of this build is that you will be able to get all the tools you need in the early game. Before I made this guide, I struggled a lot because Path of Exile 2 is a complicated game, especially if you're a new player like me, and there weren't too many beginners friendly builds out there. And to make it worse, the pro gamers were already like level 91 at the end of the first weekend, while I was still working my way through the acts. So I did some research and I tried several builds, or better said, I wanted to try several builds, but some require very specific pieces of gear or gems that aren't that fast to get. I wanted to use something that I could start using as fast as possible and have fun at the same time. I know that right now the grenade mercenary build is very popular, but I wanted something where I can actually make use of the mercenary, like if it was a first person shooter like the Doom guy or something like that. And the build that I'm showcasing today, it feels just like that. For this video, I am using the Boss Melter build by Rondogs, so be sure to check his Mobalytics link that is available at the description to help everybody, especially as you level up. Alright, so let's start by looking at what you will be able to do with this build. As you've seen already in this video, bosses will die fast because of the bleeding damage over time that you will unlock in the skill tree as you get stronger. Bleeding allows you to continuously keep your damage, so you can keep firing and escalate your damage as the fight takes longer. Even for those bosses that have multiple phases, the damage escalates very quickly, so you will have no problem. Okay, so let's talk about the skill and support gems that you will be using. When you begin the game, obviously you are low level, but as soon as you get your level 1 gem, I suggest you get the Permafrost bolts, because the Permafrost bolts will allow you to have a little bit of crowd control by freezing enemies. And if you can combine that with the explosive grenade that you also get at level 1, you should be okay to level up at these early levels. As you reach level 3, this is where everything starts to come together, so you need to get high velocity rounds. High velocity rounds by itself is really powerful, so it should help you with everything. So it's going to help you with the early bosses plus those hard to kill elites. Once you reach level 5, then you can craft level 5 skill gems, and then you can get the amazing Galvanic Shards, which I strongly suggest that you use, and this will replace the Permafrost bolts. Also, you will get the gas grenade, which also replaces the explosive grenade. They are both level 5, and this is when you start putting your build together. Be sure to keep high velocity rounds, but just make sure to increase the level as you get stronger. Alright, so let's look at the full setup that allowed me to clear Acts 1, 2 and 3, and now Cruel Act 1. We have high velocity rounds, and you can combine them with the following support gems: Double Barrel, Brutality, Scatter Shot, and you can also use Martial Tempo if you wish. For Galvanic Shards, I'm using Primal Armament, Lightning Infusion, and Martial Tempo. Now for Gas Grenade, this is where it gets really important. You want to get Corrosion as fast as possible, plus Armor Explosion. The idea of this is that you can break the bosses and the powerful elite's armor, and once you do that, then you switch to high velocity rounds, and then you take full advantage of the broken armor for a high damage effect. Also, you can use emergency reload. Basically every time that I stun a boss or a powerful elite, that's when I fire everything that I have for my high velocity rounds, and before reloading, obviously I cast emergency reload, and allows me to fire non-stop. For this build, there are two buffs that you want to make use of and that you should unlock as soon as possible. I already made a video about how you can get 60 Spirit, which I will link in the description, but once you do that, be sure to get these two buffs to deal with crowds as soon as possible. These are the Herald of Thunder and the Herald of Ash. For Herald of Thunder, I'm using the Magnified Effect and Conduction, and for Herald of Ash, you need nothing, you can just leave it as it is. And that's pretty much everything you need to use regarding skill and support gems. For this build to work, all you really need is a crossbow that has as much as possible high physical damage. Once you find that crossbow, just increase the damage by using runes or increasing the quality of the weapon, but be sure that everything is related to physical damage. Last but not least, to avoid being one-shot, try to get as much as possible energy shield items. Trust me, it will save the day, it really makes a difference. I also made a video regarding how you can get your first 2 Ascendancy points in Act 2. It's up to you really which path you want to choose at this moment, but for me I'm going for the gem studded because it allows me to use 2 copies of the same support gem in different skills, and this is basically because of Scattershot. I think Scattershot is amazing, so this is the reason behind that path. In terms of the 3, I'm pretty much using what Rondox already mentioned in his build, so again you can look at the mobile lyrics link in the description, but there are some things I want to emphasize about. The first one is that you want to get as much as possible projectile damage. So whenever you see something that has projectile damage, that's what you want to use. Also at the very beginning there are 2 nodes that are very important. One is the curved weapon, which gives you plus 10 dexterity, and the other one is colossal weapon, which gives you plus 10 strength. Both of them are very useful, especially at the early game. From here, I think this is the first nodes that actually are going to change your gameplay, which are the crossbow reload speed. As you can see, you can get 15% here, then 50% here again, and last but not least 40%. Once you get all of them, you'll be good. Trust me, things are going to feel much different. Next to it, you have the grenade damage, so you should also unlock those, especially the 25% reduced grenade fuse duration. Now, the power of this build regarding the bosses comes with the bleeding effect. So for the bleeding effect, you need to unlock these 2 nodes, which are aggravation and deep wounds. And of course, everything before those 2 that inflict bleeding on hit, you should unlock them. Last but not least, you have the bleeding out, which is plus 250 to accuracy against bleeding enemies, and the bleeding you inflict deals damage 10% faster. This is very important as well, so be sure to grab it. Those are the really important nodes that you need to have for this build to work, but once you get them, trust me, things are going to feel amazing. For the gameplay, it's really simple. You can see that whenever I'm dealing with mobs, what I want to do is throw the grenade first, so 2 things will happen. The first one is that you can break the armor, and that already allows you to take advantage of high velocity rounds if you're going that route. But since we have the Herald of Thunder and the explosions from the Herald of Ash, what you want to do is obviously use Galvanic Shards and blast them everywhere. That alone will help you with the mobs. When dealing with bosses, the pattern is very simple. All you gotta do is first throw the gas grenade, so again we can break the armor, then fire high velocity rounds as much as you can. Try to find obviously a good position to repeat this process as much as possible. So it's going to be a combination between firing the gas grenades plus firing the high velocity rounds. Please note that damage escalates. So there you have it. Let me know what you think. This is the build that has been working for me so far. Again, I tried many other combinations. Probably I will try more as I progress through the cruel difficulties, but for now I wanted to share because people have been asking me what it is that I am using, and for sure, if you're a new player, a beginner like me, this is going to help you out tremendously. So we reached the end of the video. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope this helps you. If you find this content interesting, please don't forget to subscribe for more Path of Exile 2 tips and content, and I will see you in the next video.